This episode is all about defining your audience, like really define them without feeling like you're putting yourself in a box. And we're doing this through an incredible life coaching session I had with Amy. We talked through a super helpful framework to clarify who you're actually talking to so your message actually lands. So if you've been circling the question, who is this really for? Who am I talking to? This episode is your permission slip to get clear without getting stuck. So let's dive in. Hello, my love. Welcome to Brand Confidence for Creatives. Are you feeling stuck in a cycle of overthinking, trying to build your brand? I'm Eugenia, but you can call me E. I'm a marketing and brand coach. I spent years stuck in the cycle of researching, hesitating, and hiding until I got clear on my voice and my message. In this podcast, I'll guide you through the strategies you need to get clear on what you want to say, build a personal brand that actually feels like you, and create consistent magnetic marketing. If you've ever thought, I know I have something to say, I just don't know how to say it, then you are in the right place. So grab your coffee and let's dive in. Okay, real quick, if you've been circling your message, if you've been stuck in your head, or just craving someone to help you clarify your brand and move forward, this is the moment. Because for this week only, until Sunday, June 1st, you can book a one-on-one brand clarity coaching session with me at the lowest price it will ever, because I am launching these coaching sessions and I want to make them accessible to you. So this is going to be a once and done deal. Plus, you're getting a free 30-minute Voxer follow up, which is like having a follow up voice memo coaching with me. And I can review your work. We can keep the momentum going. I can answer any questions. And this is how it works. You fill out a quick intake form so I know what you're stuck on. Then we hope on a 60-minute call where I walk you through my clarity framework and you'll walk away with a personalized recap. Let me tell you, the recap is where the juice is at after. Like, I've had so many people tell me this is the best recap. Like, you just took my brain and analyzed it for me. So that's what the recap is about. And then you get the 3-step action plan that's going to be tailored to your brand so you can keep momentum going. I don't want you with a laundry list of 1,000 different items. I want you to focus on your next 3 steps. So head to eugeniawu.com/coaching and book your session. I would love to help you finally feel clear, confident, and creatively grounded in your brand. If you've been waiting for a sign to finally get clear and feel confident, my love, this is it. This is it. So go to eugeniawu.com/coaching and grab your session before the prices increase on Sunday and the bonus expires. So go to that link. It's going to be linked in the show notes also, and book your session. I would love to work with you. Let me get my teacher hat for a minute.
Yes.
We have brand marketing and product marketing. So we have a brand that stands for something, and then that brand has different products.
Okay.
Sometimes we might feel like we're not clear because we're like, okay, this brand does not encompass all of my products. And it's because we are starting maybe with one product. So obviously the main brand is going to be the product, but not necessarily. So the best example is you have Disney, the brand Disney, and they have family entertainment and they have their brand Disney messaging, but the parks is very different from the cruise. They have a corporate development program. That language is completely different. So you can have your brand and your brand can become these different products, and that can be your coaching, retreats, books, physical products. Everything is going to be connected by this brand message, but do not think that that message needs to be the same across all of your products in the future, because they are going to be different.
And can I say something to that?
Yeah.
Because I think that is an area where I've been getting stuck because like my heart and foundation and everything is Living Table, and that's what I originally named the podcast at, but I was totally open to changing the name for searchability. That's fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I approach everything as you continue to know me and learn me. like I do feel like I'm a living table. Like I am a place, I'm a safe space for people. I'm a place where people come, they feel at ease, they feel like they can talk, they can share. And I not only am I that, but I want to model that for other people to be that because I want mental health and self-care to be accessible for
Mm-hmm.
everyone. Um, yeah, so that's where it's been tough. And just kind of like, okay, where am I going now? What am I doing now? And it's nothing different. It's just really more honing in on my genius, my sweet spot, who I am, what I have to offer.
So when do you feel when it comes to your podcast as a product, do you feel good about that message of the podcast? Do you want to still work through that message of the podcast? Or do you want to understand and feel clear about your message as Amy the brand?
Okay, that's a great question. I mean, I think that I really need structure for how I'm showing up and where and how I'm showing up and what I'm doing in each space. Like I said, I've kind of been at a standstill. And so, yeah, it's just right now, it's me. I think the best way for us to focus right now is just how I get out of this, how I start moving again. And probably specifically right now with the podcast, because that is my product right now that I'm focusing on. I think I really do know myself, and even listening to your podcast and getting more. I haven't listened to all the episodes, but every time I listen, I am taking notes, I am doing the homework. So I'm like, I am getting things like your podcast has such value. And so it's helping teach me those things about, who I am, who my person is, how I'm showing up. Um, but I just need to get back out there. So I kind of need like a right now
Mm-hmm.
um for how I'm, I guess relaunching, right? Because I'm relaunching the name of the podcast. But yeah, I'll be honest, kind of the whole like I'm taking notes on what you're saying, the whole, what's the brand, what's the product? Those kind of things are like new for me to
Mm-hmm.
think of. But good. And, it's just good to hear that the podcast is a product of the brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right? So,
Okay, I let's focus on the podcast, but I want to start with already a homework that I see because you are a connector and you said that yourself. And I think you need for your own purposes to have clarity on how everything connects, even if no one else sees it. Like you in your mind,
right, right.
you need to be clear. So as we go through this exercise, because we're gonna go through a framework,
Okay.
I want you to then think about, and I don't know if you're a visual person.
I am a visual person.
So put your like imagine your if you're a park, like you are at this place, huge, beautiful place.
I love
And
places like that.
the podcast is a station. It's a little world of Disney World, right? The podcast
Okay.
is a little section, and this is what we're doing today. But after our session, I want you to describe the full place using the elements from the same framework. Not because
Okay.
it matters necessarily on the outside right now, because right now the podcast is your focus, but because I want you to be super clear internally, connecting the dots. Like I want you to be
Right.
like, this is how these things are connected. Okay, the first part is your person. I call it the clear framework, your core
Mm-hmm.
audience. So this is the person that you're talking to. It doesn't have to be necessarily one person, as in like single mom who is blah 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 blah. Because
That has been the hardest thing for me. I have never been able to do that ever.
yeah, because some
And
people
so,
think better in
yeah,
groups. Some people think
yeah,
better in
yeah,
what does this group have in common. Because if you tell
right,
me I speak to female golfers or I speak to women interested in quantum physics,
right,
that's very specific. Even
right,
if you're saying women, it's a group.
right,
So while there is value in knowing your person intimately, when I say core audience is what do they have in common? Oh, they like health and wellness. No, come on, we can get
right,
more detail. But if you are, I'm speaking to women in quantum physics, okay, we don't need to go
right.
that deep. So the way I like to do is a person or group. So women in quantum physics, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
then adding two traits. So, what are two things that they have in common? And we can brainstorm this if you want. We don't have to commit
Okay.
because then your homework is going to be to put it together. So, who is
Right.
this person now that you've had chance to think about it? Or
Right. So yeah, it is someone who is struggling with their mental health. It's
Mhm.
someone who is, you know, again, whether that is a diagnosed mental health, illness, or again, we all deal with mental health. But it is someone who um, their mental health is a cause of suffering and something that they have to think about, and that can keep them. I think the view of it, the shame, the stigma, can keep them from showing up in the world as they're meant to. And so I've never been able to say that my person is only a woman. My person is not just a mom. Like I don't feel the, going the mom route. My person is also not a Christian always. So I will be open about sharing my faith when I am led to. But I also feel like God has given me a language of love. And because I've walked through my own suffering, I have a language that they relate to. Um, and his love comes through that. So um, does that help with the person or group?
yeah, would you say is there an age of this person? Is there, and not necessarily 24, but I'm talking someone in their 20s and everything that it comes with, someone in their 40s. Like, do you see theme in ages, or you don't see themes in ages?
Right. That's been something too. Again, I hear the like, from other programs speak to the one person, but let me just give you an example from what I've heard from my audience so far.
Mm-hmm.
There are moms that not every episode, but certain episodes that they're listening to with their children because they're creating this language of self-care all the way up to, again, people that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I mean, I have heard from a wide range. And not to say that I have to think about speaking to all of those ages,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, but that is what is already happening.
Would you say families is a strong common denominator of your audience? Either they have a family, they want to create this environment for their families. Like, there's a component about the self, and there's a component about how do I bring this to my family as well.
I think so. Again, not everyone has a family, but I think if I was to say, you know, who's the larger group, it would be those that either already have a family or are thinking about it in the future and wanting to adopt these practices to share, Um, but I haven't thought of that specifically. So, yeah,
So maybe it's a person who does, but they probably do value family and community. Even if they don't have kids, they do have kids
yes,
they want to be better for. So that could be
yes,
one of the traits. Like, they value family and community.
absolutely value community and family. Yes. They also want to connect. And like, they don't hoard information for themselves. They immediately want to share it with someone else, which is how I am. If I learn a tool, if I think that this, even if it helps me 1%, I want to share it with
Mhm.
someone else. And that's what I see them doing as well. Um, so again, you can talk family, that family is, the people that live within your home or spouse or children, or there's a lot of chosen family and people that
Yes.
are just relational relationships. Yeah.
Okay. So a person who is struggling with their mental health, who values community and family, and then are they passionate? Do they want to help others, or is it more of a, oh my gosh, look at what I learned?
I believe, yeah. Oh, they want to help others.
Okay.
They want to help others. Yeah. Um, they want to be able to give that away in some way. And I do see how they're uniquely created.
Mhm.
My oldest, for instance, she's graduating with music education degree and she's wants to be a choir director. She wants to start her own gospel choir and like community choir. And
Mhm.
she lives out this mental health, self-care and taking care of herself and whatnot. It could be someone who wants to have a jewelry business or make creative art. And that's how they connect. That's how they take care of themselves, and that's how they connect with others. Um, Authors, writers, speakers, musicians. So I do see that most often my person is creative. My person has something, whether they've identified it or not, that they want to, create or um, put out in the world. And they're often stuck. And they're often, you know, stuck in shame, stigma, whatever it may be.
Okay. So I love that they are creative. That could be the second trait. The wanting to take care of others. Is it that they want to be better? For example, self-care is really big. If you go on TikTok, there's a lot of like, girl, love yourself first, blah 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 blah. Is this person approaching self-care from that perspective, or they just want to build wellness for everyone around them?
Build wellness for everyone around them. So, them being well is a priority for them so that they can be well for those around them. So, it is definitely like the self care that I speak of and look forward to teaching about on the podcast, is like an act of resistance, an act of war against like what's coming against us. It's like, those voices come, even the imposter voices or whatever, or the things that come to put us down. It's like, oh, like looking at that, like, oh, that's a reminder. I don't have to be afraid of those thoughts. I don't have to listen to them, but that's a reminder. I probably need to slow down. I probably need to go for a walk. I probably need to, like do some sort of nature therapy, or art or something like that. And so oftentimes I'm seeing people go into action like that from listening to an episode. They're
Mhm.
then taking care of themselves, which then is like flowing out into their families, into all of their relationships.
Okay. And I think that's a strong point. I don't know if this is messaging necessarily or just content, but this idea of um there's this message around, oh, self-care for others is not good, you should do it for yourself, but there's nothing wrong in wanting to get better for others and wanting to be better for your community.
Right,
It's a beautiful motivation as well. Also, making them feel good with wanting to be good for others instead of, oh, everything
right,
has to be about yourself. Maybe not.
exactly.
Maybe in
Yeah,
a specific cases, I just really want to be better for others.
right.
Okay, and I'm gonna send you the notes and recap so you can, we're
Okay.
running ideas. But this first part is gonna be a personal group. So I think the big one is that they're struggling with their mental health. So for
Mm-hmm.
sure, it is already when recognized by them. It doesn't matter if it's being diagnosed, but don't go
Right,
about the person that is completely oblivious or that they're like, oh, everything is fine, because those
right,
people are gonna be very hard to reach. So this person there needs
right,
to be awareness, at least with there's a problem here.
right.
Maybe they're not going to therapy, like that's not necessarily where you catch them, but there needs to be some level of awareness. So that's
Yes.
for you as you see that your people, they value family and community, and either they are creative or they want to build wellness for everyone around them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so those are I'm gonna let you marinate on those, but I would
Yeah.
you focus on that person and those traits.
Okay.
Maybe at some point you realize it is a woman, maybe you don't, but I think if you focus on everything else that makes them unique, other than their sex,
Right,
you're gonna create that idea of one. Because
right,
there's mental health spaces that are about your own wellness.
right,
You being well because you want to feel better, which there's nothing wrong with it. But if you want
right,
to feel better, so your contribution to your community, to your family is in a better place, that's a
right,
different community already. Like that's a
right,
different set of values.
right, right, right.
And
But
you need to
think
be
of,
comfortable with standing against things that saying I'm about this, not this, and
right.
not because I hate what you do or I disagree with you. It's just not my people.
Yes, yes, right.
All right, welcome back. Let's recap real quick. Today with Amy, we broke down what it actually means to define your audience, which is not a rigid avatar, but as a real group of people with shared traits, values, with shared struggles. And contrary to what many of you believe, your audience doesn't have to fit a perfect mold, but you do need to know what connects them. So for Amy, for example, that meant recognizing that her people value mental health, they value family and community, and they value creativity. And also, it's so important, this intrinsic desire that they have about wanting to be well so that they can pour into others. So if you've been feeling stuck or unclear about who you're creating content for, start there. Re-listen to this coaching session because I believe it's going to help you so much. And if you're still feeling a little foggy, or if you want support pulling all these pieces together in a way that actually feels true to you, don't forget that for this week only, you can book a one-on-one brand clarity coaching session with me at the lowest price it will ever be. And you're also going to get a 30-minute Voxer follow-up session. That's basically voice messaging follow-up to help you keep the momentum going after the call, to help you answer any questions, give you my feedback. So this is honestly an offer I am so excited about because it's going to bring so much value to you. So just head to eugeniawu.com/coaching to grab your spot before Sunday, June 1st. You don't have to figure it all out on your own, and you don't have to wait until things feel perfect. Clarity creates momentum, and that starts right now. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you loved it, don't keep it to yourself. Send it to a friend who's also trying to grow their brand without losing themselves in the process. Remember that sharing is caring. Real talk, I used to overthink every post too. So if this episode gave you a little aha moment, just know you are not behind. You are building something real. See you back here soon for the next episode. Un beso.